Alrighty everyone, welcome back. Now, given that Star Wars Celebration is basically coming to a close, a couple of days ago, we got the full-length trailer of the Ahsoka Tano series, which by the way I thought was very promising, very well edited, very well scored. I really love the cinematography. I think it really has a chance, like the Disney executives are hoping it out to be, the home run of Disney Star Wars on Disney+. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, like always, Kathleen Kennedy is always making very bad calls and decisions over at Lucasfilm with various meetings and decisions that she's making for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and not to mention, there's a lot of other factors that are going into those shows. Now, given that fans at Celebration got to see footage of the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and it was not shown to the public, officially speaking. Sure, it was shot and leaked out there across social media. I don't know if you guys saw it, but basically the structure of the Acolyte is really focusing on a martial arts type of theme style, and Skeleton Crew is kind of like mixing Star Wars with Stranger Things and the Goonies. That's kind of like what their approach is right now. But moving on to the next big thing, one of the worst calls that Kathleen Kennedy recently made for those two projects has a lot to do with something that a lot of fans put out a lot of criticism over related to the latest episode of The Mandalorian. We're going to be going over a very interesting development also involving the latest Mandalorian episode and why a lot of fans were being very critical about that, and how it pertains to what Kathleen Kennedy recently did with Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. Let's actually, get into this now. Now, Disney is getting ready to focus on a total of 6 Star Wars films, 3 of which were announced at Celebration, and another 3 at D23 will be later this year, and unveiled centering on the Old Republic. However, recently it's noted that Lucasfilm is doing something very controversial with the Star Wars fandom that involves Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland's approach and their big plan for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew is that they are described to be inserting several celebrity cameos into the Star Wars series as a way to salvage parts of the show. This is described to be a mixture of singers, actors, and musicians that will be appearing in the Acolyte and Skeleton in a very obvious way as well, where they will not be mistaken for who they are in the series. Kennedy first got the Disney executives to push John and Dave to include Jack Black and Lizzo in the latest episode of The Mandalorian, way back when the script was being written before John and Dave had practically total control over Lucasfilm's projects and all the TV shows. Lucasfilm is now doubling down on celebrity cameos, not just with the Acolyte, but also with Skeleton Crew. Kathleen Kennedy reportedly met up with singer Miley Cyrus and even Cardi B to play a cameo role in a cantina sequence for the Acolyte series, and that this is something that Kathleen Kennedy is currently working on right now, to double down on celebrity cameos in both Acolyte and Skeleton. Let me stop right here, guys, real quick. Now, believe it or not, this is a very interesting development that Kathleen Kennedy played a role in the celebrity cameos of Jack Black and Lizzo, and how she convinced Disney executives to pass this down to John and Dave as being a very good idea. And I've expressed this many times before, guys. I've personally said that I thought that Jack Black and Lizzo appearing in the latest Mando episode was just the strangest thing that I ever saw in an actual Star Wars episode. Now, guys, you may love it, you may enjoy it, you may even support Jack Black and Lizzo being in the latest episode, but I, for one, did not. I felt like it really took me out of the episode. And if you know a lot about, Jack Black and Lizzo, you could not mistake for who they really were when they first appeared. It was like that. It would have been a different story, guys, however, if perhaps they wanted to make Jack Black into some kind of alien creature where he's all made up, or they did something similar in a sense to Lizzo. It wouldn't have really taken me out of the experience if they were at least somewhat made up. I don't know about you, but when I see Jack Black and the way that he was, I just see Jack Black, because that's literally what he looks like almost in real life. He's got that beard, 24/7. That beard, basically the way it is, was not just for the Mando. That's how it is. But anyways, I digress. Kathleen Kennedy is actually doubling down on celebrity cameos for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew by using Miley Cyrus and Cardi B for an upcoming Skeleton Crew, or should I say Acolyte Cantina sequence, for starters, before moving on to the Skeleton Crew scenes. I really believe that this is probably one of the worst calls that you could make. No hate on these performers at all. I'm just saying, stuff like this just takes me out of Star Wars. It seems like now, celebrity cameos are going to become a trend. I hope not, because that's what Kathleen Kennedy is already doing with Skeleton and Acolyte. But I digress. As it stands right now, alright, she is a big-time supporter of Jack Black and Lizzo, and that's why she pressed Disney executives to make that happen early on in the script. Many fans expressed their criticism with their roles in the Mandalorian episode, though John and Dave are diverting from celebrity cameos. So they're not doing this, by the way, guys, in any future Star Wars show. So basically, Ahsoka's not going to do this, Mando 4 is not going to do it. The other shows that will be announced at D23 are diverting from this. So that kind of puts that to rest, that it's not going to be a full-on trend, but it will be continuing in Acolyte and Skeleton. Kennedy is focusing entirely on making this happen for future shows of hers, that of course being these two, which is set to get additional filming in the coming weeks as well. Now, again, this is something that I think is really going to take fans out of the experience in a heartbeat. It's really not going to work. It's not going to really work well with the fans. I think a lot of fans are going to tune out from both shows if the celebrity cameos are going to be like that obvious and not made up as a different character or anything like that. Now, like I said before, for me, the better outcome would have been to perhaps make Jack Black into some kind of species, as well as Lizzo, where you're not taken out of the experience. And maybe I'm nitpicking, maybe I'm not, I don't know, but I think that it really was a mistake to do that. It surely was. And so, for Acolyte and Skeleton Crew to do this with, of course, Kathleen Kennedy authorizing this and making this happen, especially with those like Miley Cyrus and Cardi B, it just makes no sense to me. It almost comes across like they're just using the Star Wars platform when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy as a way to kind of just do whatever they want to do to promote specific people or to just kind of like drag in fans of those celebrities, and it just doesn't really work. But anyways, guys, I would really love to hear your take on Kathleen Kennedy's current plan to continue with celebrity cameos in these upcoming shows, and it's just unfortunate that this is the path that she's taking. Again, maybe I'm nitpicking, but I feel it's the worst thing to do when it comes to Star Wars. It takes you right out of that galaxy far, far away. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you guys have to say about all of this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night